think that's it. Without further ado, I'm going to pass things over and let Kamil pick it up with Ideamotive and start the workshop.
Sure. All right. Give me a second. I need to share my screen.
Okay. Real quick, can everyone see his screen? Just drop like a yes in the chat there, real quick, and make sure everyone can see it. And okay, Roy, yes. Okay, great. Yep.
I think
awesome.
we're ready to go. Okay, so hi there, and thank you, Mike, once again for introducing me. It is awesome to be here with you today, guys. And first of all, thank you for having me. Today we'll talk about how to start online marketplace business, and I can't wait to share some of our experience and tips on that topic with you. So my name is Kamil, and I represent Ideamotive. We love creating projects like this. We build 25 apps and platforms annually, and we have been helping startups for over 6 years now. So I may modestly say that we know what we are talking about. And I hope that you will find this webinar very informative and instructive, and will help you find with your future projects. So with no further ado, like Mike said, let's roll it. And what will you learn today? Types of marketplaces and which one to choose for your next project. Where to start when thinking about kicking off. And I can't highlight this enough. Many fledgling entrepreneurs start with something which is not crucial at the very beginning. So I'll try to give you some hints on that too. Next, the chicken and egg problem and how to crack it. Something every fledgling and marketplace owner needs to face. There are some tricks though, how to beat it, and of course, I will share those with you. Finally, we'll talk about very much exciting stuff. This is lettuce. I will let you know how you can effectively earn money on your future marketplace. And for those who are interested, we'll give out coupons on our services. So stay till the end, and like Mike said, we are giving back to the community, and I'll be more than happy to give those back to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Just drop it into the box, chat box, even during my presentation. Of course, like Mike said, we will have some time for Q&A later on. So let's jump into it. Okay, so we've now, no doubt, marketplace is a buzzword. Every year, there are hundreds of new marketplaces entering markets all over the globe. Some are tiny, local, and within our scope. Some are, on the other hand, very big, global, and with millions of users and billions in income. But what's an essence of a marketplace, and how does it work? A marketplace business is one that connects demand, so people who want a thing, with supply, so people who have that thing, and leads them to a financial transaction. These businesses do not generally own any supply, do not provide products or services directly. Simply put, their job is to provide a platform where the supply and demand efficiently find each other and transact successfully. And there are some good reasons why startups very often take up a marketplace model for their business. Here are a few most valuable and common. So, network effect. The more users you get, the more useful your product becomes. The more users you get. And there's an awesome case of Uber for that instance. There is no point of having an Uber app if you need to wait for a car 60 or more minutes. Same story for drivers. If you had, as an Uber driver, one customer over 3 hours, it won't be very beneficial for you. The same effect works for social platforms for that matter. Second one is barrier to entry. Once a marketplace has a strong network effect, it becomes increasingly difficult to enter or replicate the marketplace. What is more, if you think about starting a marketplace business, think twice if there is a huge player in your market. It might be extremely difficult to compete and win market share there. Third one is efficiency. No inventory means cheaper to operate. Fourth, scalability. No inventory means easier to scale. And this is a huge one. An example here, maybe you know Rover platform versus dog hotels. It's way easier to acquire next sitter than building another hotel. And last but not least, flexibility. No inventory means easier to pivot. And this might be a case with Uber Black towards Uber X. So we can distinguish two categories of marketplaces. First one is all about the audience. Second touches on market potential. And what concerns audience is probably a well-known topic to you, but let's just briefly go through it. So B2B marketplace, this one offers bulk of wholesale options. So that's the place where coffee is cheaper, unless you don't buy less than 10 kilograms, right? And the example might be here, Alibaba. B2C, that's where individuals can buy basically anything. It's most popular type of marketplace by far. And C2C marketplace is a place where individuals can sell their used or sometimes new goods to other individuals. And eBay might be an example here. Second type of category is all about market potential, and it might be more interesting for you because it's not that common to talk about it. So horizontal marketplaces aim to provide wide service or goods in a particular model. Big retailers like Tesco or Walmart in the offline world are good examples. AliExpress or eBay are typical horizontal marketplaces. Contrary to horizontal marketplaces, vertical ones focus on one particular target, branch or industry to better fit its needs and provide higher quality tailored service. The vertical marketplace model is getting more and more common when it comes to launching new startups or ventures. So this is something you should consider when thinking about starting a marketplace. So yeah, but you didn't come here to listen to a school-like lecture, right? How can I use this knowledge, you might ask? And this is a super valid question. So let's dive into how you can start thinking about your potential marketplace. First off, you have to know that launching a successful marketplace is not an easy thing to do. It might sound like something very simple, right? I mean, in essence, you are just a place where vendors and buyers meet and you get something out of it, a form of a middleman position, just like that. But believe me, on every successful marketplace follows dozens of those which failed. So there is no script nor manual of how to become a successful marketplace owner. There are, on the other hand, sets of rules and good practices that will help you boost your chances of becoming one. So I would like to give you 5 tips, which according to our vast experience and knowledge, should help you make your marketplace a real and beneficial business. So drums, and here comes tip number 1. Uniqueness is the greatest weapon, and so find your niche. It must be something specific though. I mean, you don't want to be Apple from 2020s. You want to be Apple from 1990s, when they introduced Macintosh to the market. Macintosh began its business by targeting a niche customer base. This is graphic artists and designers, and went on to dominate the market. Second tip, it's just starting small. If small works, there is a chance that big will work too. So constrain your idea. You can use 2 dimensions for that matter, constrained by category and geographically. And here come cases. TravelDuck is one of our clients and biggest Polish marketplace that connects individual adventure trips organizers with their customers. They offer a wide range of activities from trekking, biking, and sailing in Poland to exploring Chernobyl or diving in Sri Lanka. They started by implementing their platform in one city and then grew up to the scale of the whole Poland. So again, start small. Next case is you can also constrain by category. So the next case is MediaTask, our another client, produces highly customized visuals for their real estate business. They hire top draftsmen to deliver top quality drawings on a mass scale to clients all around the world. MediaTask is a leader in their own category. They found a niche, they set up marketplace, and they start to win this specific market. Start small again. You don't have to be a global marketplace from day one. Niches are great because they give you an early advantage. Tip number 3, if I were to point to which of those tips I mentioned, or I will mention in a moment, is mostly overlooked, I say business validation. Testing your idea before going full speed is sometimes considered as black magic. People might have heard of it, but have no idea how it works or how it might be possible. So lean approach comes here handy. Make an MVP, rely on your ready-to-use solutions and platforms like Magento or WooCommerce, which allow you to build your marketplace in hours, or Stripe, which will take care of your payment model just like that. And what concerns lean approach to business is crucial not only when talking about building marketplaces. It actually applies to every type of modern business. So if you want to learn more, I strongly encourage you to check webinar my colleague Philip has recently presented on last event. We'll drop you a link later on, or maybe Mike will send to the next email maybe, but it's totally worth watching, so go ahead, please. Tip number 4, and as I promised, we have to face an every marketplace owner nightmare, the chicken and egg problem. So basically the question is as follows, if someone maybe not know what it is. Once a marketplace business is operating, supply happily serves demand, right? However, when your marketplace is just getting started and you have neither supply nor demand, it is challenging to get the flywheel going. So you must convince one side of the marketplace to commit before the other side. So basically, what can you do? What do you do in this situation? Well, you can focus on one side, and this is the best advice I can give you. Focus on one side, and in most cases, it will be a supply side. And you might ask why? Why supply side? Well, supply side is often driving its own demand. What is more, you can be more reliable. So let's have a look at a JRPass case. And JRPass, that is Japan Rail Pass, is another project we helped our client introduce to the market, and basically it is all about selling and buying rail passes for Japan Railways. And you may ask, like, okay, Kamil, but where is the chicken egg problem in this case? Well, after all, it is more a commerce kind of thing, right? And yeah, you can be partly right, but the thing is to ask yourself a question: what is your business all about? Well, look, JRPass has one vendor, Japan Railway that is, and they made a platform for thousands of foreign customers so they can use, check, and buy their passes. In essence, it is a marketplace then, but with a singular supply side. And due to that fact, it becomes even more reliable and less risky, especially for early adopters. After all, they are buying tickets of an existing railway, not from a fledgling startup. So you might consider this one for your idea. And what Mediatask did to crack the chicken and egg problem? Well, they started with one client only. So quite opposite practice to JRPass case. There was one company which bought drafts from talent gathered by Mediatask. It allowed Mediatask to grow their supply base and after a while win other buyers. Nowadays, Mediatask has a couple of categories and plenty of buyers and vendors all over the Europe. And the third case is Ideamotive. Yep, you're right, this is us. We as an Ideamotive also have a huge plans for future. Our goal is to become legitimate marketplace. In order to do that, we started small, from getting the talent base right. So we have hundreds of talented specialists in fields of building software, apps, platforms, marketplaces, for instance, designs, and more. On the other side, we get clients more easily as we are not constrained by fixed costs of having huge teams on a payroll, sorry, it's quite late here in Poland, nor by tech stack we use, which is quite common issue in software agencies or dev shops all over the globe. So we aim for being a platform where you can find talent for hours, hire a team or individual for your project, like Airbnb, but software services. And don't get me wrong, we are a marketplace already. If you need anyone for your project, we'll deliver you a proper talent along with our expertise and full engagement. And the last tip for today is how you can mitigate your early stage risk. And this is super important. As a marketplace owner, you need to find and design a way to encourage your suppliers and buyers to stay. As the suppliers can list their products and services on any marketplace given, the platform needs to provide something unique and discourage leaving. On the other side, if buyers find he or she wants, you have to convince them to return next time, right? So a simple example might be when one is looking for a doctor and he comes across this platform of yours when he can search, find, and book a visit. If he goes to that visit and he is satisfied, what is his incentive to look out for a doctor next time he needs him on your platform instead of going direct to the same doctor he found before? These are tough questions to answer, but there are some tricks to keep both your suppliers and buyers loyal to your service. And of course, I will share some of those tips with you now. So ratings. Rating is something you can probably easily relate to. If you are a seller and you think of changing marketplace, your ratings and opinions won't transfer with you. So the longer seller stays on your platform, the more comments, opinions, and positive ratings he or she gets, the more loyal to your marketplace he or she gets. And we know from the social proof concept for marketing that such ratings are a crucial thing in decision making when it comes to buying some stuff, especially online, and especially nowadays during pandemic times. So yeah, this is one way to go. Another thing is clever and intuitive UX, so user experience. Tailored to specific target group might be a powerful weapon too. And this is the case of JRPass I mentioned before. And you may ask, what's the big deal? I mean, they are just using direct API of the Japan Railway to sell passes in different countries. But have a look at that. And believe me, you wouldn't want to buy those passes on the original site. So intuitive UX and UI are sometimes a way to go in order to mitigate these risks. So how can you earn some bucks on marketplace? The common answer to the questions are fees, of course, but fees introduce friction to buyers and sellers transacting. So whoever's charged will try to go off platform. So the right business model depends on your marketplace. And so if buyers make purchases with little back and forth, then seller transaction fees are a way to go. If the marketplace acts purely like classifieds, listing fees make more sense. And most marketplaces will take fees from seller, since demand is very often a limiting factor for growth. You can also go with subscription fees and lean your marketplace on freemium model, like for instance, Spotify did. But short notice, in order to push that through, we'll have to have really solid value proposition. But you can go with different models still. And that is up or cross-selling. And again, JRPass case comes here helpful, as of course they cannot charge for those passes twice the original price. So what they do is that they heavily rely on their business model, their business model on selling SIM cards and guidebooks along with those passes. And it's quite smart, right? Don't you agree? So we just learned lots of valuable information. So how much does it cost to build a marketplace? And this is also a super important question to ask yourself, or us for that instance. And I have to use one of your favorite kind of answers. It all depends. I mean, one cannot just throw a number just like that. Implementing a marketplace might be both very simple or super complex. And it all depends on your idea. So, but what you can always do, is to validate it before going something big. There are plenty of ready-to-use tools which help you with that. And second option is that you find a partner just like us, like Ideamotive, who will challenge you, establish that what you really want and what your future customers might need, and ultimately give you an estimation. So if you want to price your project, just reach out to us. I can guarantee that you will walk out with meaningful insight. And also, like Mike said before this webinar, for those who are interested, we have $500 credit for our services. We can help you consult your idea, like prepare a mood board, or do some software development. It all depends on your needs. So first 5 to book a call with me get $500 credit on our services. And yeah, and that will be all actually. So let's sum up the most important tips you should remember from today's webinar. So first of all, find your niche. Then start small, validate your idea. This is super important. I mean, this is the most important thing about like doing business online nowadays. And fourth, crack the chicken egg problem. And finally, mitigate your risk. And in case you want to know more, I highly recommend to go through this pillar of ours. You will find there are lots of cases and good practices which will help you build your next marketplace, right? So I will drop you a link in a sec, probably when I'm finished. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. I'll be more than happy to answer them, even the most tricky ones. So just remember that we are here to help and just to give back to the community. So book a call with me. We'll have a chit chat and just get those $500 with me. Okay, that will be all. So thank you. I will drop your links now. I will just stop my share and I will drop some links.
Sweet, that was amazing. That was great. I mean, super informative. It, you know, it made a lot of sense. I was nodding my head along with a lot of that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
it's
a bit distracted, you know, but
yeah, it's super on point. I think a lot of people try to start in a huge market and they want to, you know, be the big travel booking platform. It's like there's so many of those already. You should be the travel booking platform for, you know, maybe your city or whatever. Be the best at that one thing and start from there. So there's so many good tidbits from there. We have a bunch of questions coming in. I know you just dropped the link in, so great. We had a question from Saucy about starting small, right? She wants, if you can you break it down a little bit further to start? And then we had Shane also comment on that, start small tactics going beyond geo and category. Are there other ways people can start small, going beyond maybe their city or a very specific niche? Are there other ways that they can do that and start small?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it's a great question, first off. And actually, I had a superb case for that. And maybe I'll just share a screen for
Yeah.
one because, I mean, I need to cut it off because it was too long already. But I think you will like it very much. And this is something which will answer your question.
Yeah.
This is the pillar page I told you about. I just dropped a link in the chat box. So yeah, I prepared this one. Yeah, probably this is the one. I have it on the other screen, so sorry, I'm just looking this side now. Okay, so this is super case because it is all about value and starting small. Because of course, I told you how to start small, like in general way, but this is the case from Poland. This is one of the most robust startups now in Poland. And just to give you a short, brief background on that, Tutlo is like a revolution in foreign languages learning, like a value proposition on this main page is saying. So the basic idea behind it was that, I mean, people need to polish their English skills. So in Poland here, there is this practice that you have those lectures or classes during the evenings, which last for an hour or so. And this is extremely difficult from people from business to attend those. I mean, when you're working 10 or 11 hours a day, you don't want to go like 9 or 10 p.m. for students' classes, right? So the founders of Tutlo thought this way. I mean, okay, so why won't we get native speakers from UK, US, or Canada, and we just connect them with those business people who want to polish and practice their English skills, and do that through the app, through the marketplace, right? Because this is kind of marketplace, and this is what they did. But they started small. Now it's like a big business in Poland and abroad in Europe. But they started very small, and this is the very first landing page they created. And they didn't have an app. They didn't have any developers on board. This is what they created like in 3 evenings. Actually, I know the founders, so I know the background of how it happened to being. So this is what they did. They just created in 3 afternoons a landing page. This is what you see here on this iPhone screen. This is just a screen, like you can do it in Canvas or in PowerPoint or in Paint even. And they just roll out a small campaign. And all this campaign was about attracting new traffic, because they started from value, right? But of course, value is the core of your business, every kind of business. What can you propose to your customer? The value. But even though if you have great value and you have the best app and platform marketplace in the world, but no one is like seeing it and no one is visiting this marketplace, it has no value at the end of the day. So you have to have this value and traffic at the same time. So they had this value, right? It was that was their long shot, that people will buy it. But they didn't want to invest in expensive customized app, because like going with streaming videos and chat and all those lectures inside the platform is like a expensive thing to do. So they decided to just test it, validate it. So they created this screenshot and this website in 3 afternoons, and they pushed a small campaign. And this campaign was as follows. And I don't know whether you will hear it, but there are like subtitles. So just give Bob 1 minute to hear him out. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Hello, Tutlo. My name is Bob, and I will help you with your English skills on Tutlo. I'm an English native speaker living in the United States. I have TEFL and CELTA certificates, and I teach English to people all over the world. From my experience, the best way to learn English is to talk and listen on a day-to-day basis. With Tutlo, we can do just that. 15 minutes a day, 4 days a week. It's absolutely awesome. During our classes, we will work on pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar issues. If you want me to help you with your English, just call me in Tutlo.
Yeah, and basically what they did,
See you.
there was no app, right? There was just a print screen on the phone. And this is already like a very smart way to advertise your business. But let me ask you this one. Who is Bob? Who is Bob? I mean, is he a native speaker? Is he an employee of Tutlo? What's your guess? What do you think? Because this...
Jimmy says no one. He's a supplier, founder's dad, essentially, an actor.
He's no one. Well,
Professor.
not no one, but very close to that. I mean, the founders bought him on Fiverr for $5. I mean, I will give you a realistic video testimonial. I mean, what the heck is going on here? And it's like it's almost 2,500 opinions. It's 5 stars. So like, how many people needed to bought him? I mean, bought his service if like 2,500 people left 5 stars? Like, wow, it's like 10,000, 15,000, and it's for $5. You get a real video testimonial. And imagine that people were calling to Tutlo to have a lesson with Bob. And Bob is not even his name. I mean, he's crazy. And this is how they did it. And they pre-ordered their service. They said, okay, you can buy our lessons. You can buy those lessons with native speakers, but we'll go online, we'll go live in 6 months. So you can have like a half of the price now and reserve, book your place in our platform, and we'll kick off in 6 months time. And they, one thing, they raised funds by just selling this places for those audience. But second of all, they went to investor. They showed investors that, okay, like people are buying our product that we don't even have yet. And what did investors said? Okay, wow, it's awesome. Like when I see ROI, like return on investment, I mean, they already sold something they don't have. So where's the risk there? So they invested in Tutlo, and now it's super robust startup. So that might be an answer to your question about how to start small. You need to find those small ways, and especially test and validate your business idea, because Tutlo had no idea whether it will work or not. I mean, they had this value, they thought they have this value, and they had the challenge, they had to face a challenge to get the traffic right. But they could invest like $100,000 or something or so to build an app, wait 6 months, and then invite people to use it. But they did opposite way. So you like look for those smart ways. And actually, like in our pillar, which the link I sent you in the chat box, there are some cases that you can lean on to just inspire yourself. Of course, every niche is specific, and you can't just take the idea and transform it and like adapt it to your like without changing anything and to your surroundings. but still you can very much inspire yourself. And yeah.
I think that's great. No, it's huge. It's huge. We have we have a question here. So where did they promote, Bob? Did they do like YouTube ads? Did they do Google ads, social media ads? How did they got that video from Fiverr, and we've used Fiverr. Like, it's great for entrepreneur startups. Like, you can find a lot of cool stuff on there. It's a very successful marketplace in of itself. And you know, do you know where they promoted it? Like, what did they do with the video? Once they got the video, what did they do with it?
Yeah. So like when you have a video, or when you start it, I mean, I'm coming from a marketing background. So I mean, this is topic for me. I love this one. I love this question. So basically you have like two strategies. You have like push strategy and pull strategy in marketing. So imagine that you're on marketplace and everybody is like shouting, I have those tomatoes and I have those potatoes cheaper and I have more beautiful and mine is more reddish and stuff like that. So this is like a Google ads, right? You're typing something in, a keyword like find me a native speaker. And there are like lists of firms or companies, marketplaces or apps that are providing you this service. But this is not something you want to fight with, because there are like fully fledged companies with expertise, with traffic. So it would be extremely difficult to fight against those companies via Google ads. So you go with Facebook ads. And why you do so? Because it's push marketing. So you're scrolling your iPhone or Android app, and you're scrolling and oh, it's a nice video. What's it about? Oh, I need to polish and I need to polish my English skills. So why won't I try, right? I mean, it's half price now. Whoa, and Bob is great. I want to have lessons with Bob, right? So like people get excited. And what is more, it's only you in the space. So when you have a phone, and there is a Bob, there is no other Bob there. There is no other company that serves this lessons online. It's only Bob here. So you have the full attention. And the same for YouTube for that instance. So go with the push strategy first. And if you have this one, if you have these first customers and you build traffic, then your SEO will go up, then the Google ads will make sense. So like YouTube, Facebook ads especially, because like Facebook also has like this huge algorithm, very precise, and actually this is the most accurate tool that you can use as a marketer nowadays. So Instagram, like Messenger, Facebook, this all comes from Facebook. So I would go with that, especially as you can just spend like $3 or $4 and that's it. In Google ads, you have to spend like, you can't spend just $5. It won't work. It won't work. In Facebook ads, it's very scalable actually, and you can like multiply the effect you just received, and especially it will get cheaper and cheaper with the amount you're spending. So I hope I just answered your question. Is that, yeah. I mean, are you satisfied with my answer?
Yeah, I think that was great. Roy or Christopher, did you guys want any follow up from that? I think I want to highlight a couple of things here. You mentioned it in the presentation, but I think this, like the example with this app, the language learning app, was fantastic. And I think it, for me too, and as I've been building companies and stuff for the last few years now, the biggest thing that I've realized in interviewing founders and investors and all sorts of stuff, if you can establish proof of concept, that is all you need, right? You have to, as fast as you can, prove without a shadow of doubt, there's either a massive amount of people that want this for free, right? Or there's people willing to pay for this, right? Yeah. And if you can do one of those two things, then you're on the right track. If you can't prove one of those two things, you should probably reconsider and go back through the original process of solving the problem, finding a market that you really care about and are interested in, and see a way to improve that.
Yeah, and this is very important to test before going big, because like while you're small, when like you have just an idea on your piece of paper on the whiteboard, like the one behind me, don't invest anything but your time and energy, right? So you can pivot, you can test, you can experiment with this one. Once you, for instance, possess investor or some funds, or you go with the 4F fundraisers. Do you know 4F maybe?
4F?
4F, yeah. 4F fund. Do you know 4F fund? This is the fund that's investing in very early stage startups. So it counts for 4 words starting on F. So first is, maybe you guess. So 4F fund, 4 words starting, each one starting from F letter.
Oh, you're asking people?
Yeah, I'm asking people. So first one is family, right? I mean, family will give you some money on that. The second one is like friends.
Yep.
So third one can be, someone will tell me, what was your long shot? Fools. Fools, yeah, exactly, fools. And the fourth one, who needs to invest money in your business in the first place? Users, founders, right? You have to give some money from your savings.
Correct.
So
Nice.
no money. I mean, no one will invest in your idea unless it's validated. So you need to focus on that. And when you come to the investor, like Tutlo did, with like a bunch of like transactions, and look, this is what this is the pre-order. This is what we sold without having anything yet, and we need $100,000 for bringing them up. Easy way. If they went, for instance, like 3 months before that, and they said like, okay, we have this awesome idea. We know that there is this value in this business, and we just need some money to kick off. Like no one will believe them. Like no one will invest in them because the ROI is not right. It's not on point. So as long as you have an idea, this is the time for testing and test and validate. And actually, my friend Philip last time on this awesome event has presented about MVP and how can you build an app without having like anything, like just having this 4F fund, for instance. So like I'm super like encouraging you towards this one because it's really informative.
For sure. I want to get to a couple more of these questions, and just to summarize, to the Tutlo, the language learning app, you said that they did use Facebook ads for that video. Is that?
Yeah, they did use Facebook ads. Sorry if I wasn't.
Okay, cool. We have a question here from this is from Christopher. It looks like he is a chemical. He either has a chemical marketplace or he's starting one with buyers and suppliers. What do you think he should do for marketing for that? It seems like he's pretty niche. So maybe he could do Facebook ads like you suggested. Maybe Google ads might be cheap for that like super niche of a marketplace, or even just calling the suppliers and buyers directly for like chemical companies, right? It's not like he's going to be having to deal with a massive amount of people. What do you think in that regard?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would focus on the people who are like deciding about going with your marketplace, with your future marketplace, because like I mean, we all have like Facebook account, LinkedIn account, Gmail, and we watch YouTube, and of course we act differently on each of them. So we're looking for different stuff. We need different stuff from those, but still we are the one person. And I personally recommend Facebook ads very much due to the fact that it is very accurate. So you can, for instance, target bold people, or you can seriously, or you can target people in complicated relationships. And I mean, maybe you had this you had the situation when, for instance, talking through phone with your colleague about, I don't know, buying a bike. So I would like to buy a bike, and bike. And after a couple of minutes, you scroll your Facebook feed, and there is a bike ad. It magically appears, right? This is why, because they are like, I mean, of course, we are living in a golden cage. So they have a lot of information about our behavior, how we act, what do we need, what we're talking about. So Facebook ads are great, and you don't have to spend much money on it. Google ads. Yeah, Google ads in your particular case might be a very good start, but you need to have like a very nice someone is interrupting.
Yeah, we had someone, I muted them.
You need to have like a very nice website. I mean, not nice like in UI style, but like SEO style. So
Right.
really boost the Google ads. But I will probably stick to Facebook ads because you're targeting the same people, also from business. But Google ads would be nice as well. I mean,
yeah. All right, yeah, I think that's great. We have a couple more questions. Marketing for an online course, I think same thing. Facebook, I think building your following on social media, Instagram, that sort of thing's great if you're just selling an online course yourself. So you need to establish credibility yourself and a following yourself if you're going to do something like that. Secondhand apparel marketplaces, it like something, I'm assuming Rosanna is talking about something similar to like Poshmark or Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Again, for those types of marketplaces, I don't know, Rosanna, if you can clarify, you're just saying like, what do you recommend? Are you saying for marketing for these secondhand apparel marketplaces?
Yeah, and let me just interrupt you here because like there is an awesome idea to start small and maybe it will inspire you. Imagine that Facebook has a built-in tool for marketplaces. I mean, you can make a marketplace on Facebook. Like there is a marketplace tool. So why won't you start with a marketplace? And actually, this is what one of our past clients did. There was a business about like, it was quite complicated. I won't spend time on that. But basically what they did, they just advertised organically on Facebook because there is a marketplace tool for that. And once they validated the idea, they proved that there is a supply and demand side. They just went and built a marketplace. So you can use that as well. You can use groups for that instance, like create a group with a proper naming that people can search for it and come across it and just advertise there organically. You can do webinars like this one, going live, talking about things like this value proposition, like spreading the word. And in most cases, these early adopters will be attracted because of this specific value. And the word of mouth is the best marketing you can get. So focus on giving value because it will always pay off. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we have a question here about any tips for selling, for artists and photographers selling their work online. Pretty specific. Obviously, there's a lot of different places where you could sell things, right? Like eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, whatever else. I'm not sure if there's any specific marketplaces for artists and photographers to sell work, but that might be an interesting place. I'm sure people have probably tried that in the past before as well.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that recently, like a week ago or something, we got an inquiry about giving an estimation for such a marketplace. Seriously, I mean, the guy from Poland asked us how much it will cost to build a marketplace for artists, and exactly for graphic designers and photo designers. And well, we lost it due to other stuff, but basically this is an awesome idea, and we evaluated it, and there is a potential, especially in Europe. So if you're thinking about that, go ahead. Of course, you will have to face this big challenge, how to start small. And I think in this very particular case, I mean, the community is very closed. I mean, if you are able to get to the community, like to meetups or like webinars or like exhibitions where people talk about art or photography, then you're a winner because you can go there, propose some value for them, and then win the market. And I think the simplest value you can get now is that, I mean, you cannot have exhibitions right now, right? You cannot have meetups stationary, like offline. So why won't you convince them to go online to your platform or to your Facebook group or to your Zoom meeting? Why not? And then like have this conversation about art and during the same time just maybe sell something or propose to, I don't know, enter your marketplace in the future, or just build a database, like gather emails and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, great. We have 10 minutes left, so if you guys have any more questions, let's keep them flowing in. We have a question here from Elena. I think I can understand this correctly. What would your suggestions be maybe for people who don't have money to spend on paid marketing? So like she can't set up a store with Facebook or IG, but like how could they engage with their customers and then drive? Because there's really paid traffic, organic traffic, right? Obviously, organic traffic is the best, but it's very, very difficult. So do you have any strategies for maybe people on how they could drive traffic organically through social media to their project or to their website or marketplace?
Sure. I mean, this is what you actually do. I mean, webinars, going live, like talking about useful stuff. I mean, this is what people expect. And like giving value, again, I will like emphasize and highlight this like forever. You need to give value and people will listen. And what can you do? You just use the organic platforms, and Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube are like a organic places, organic platforms. You can get organic traffic from it. It will be quite difficult to get organic traffic in the very beginning from Google or like search engines, but from Facebook, not that much, because for instance, you host a live on Facebook, you make an event, set up an event, and then you invite your friends or people from your industry or people from your target group. And then those people react. So for instance, they say, okay, they opt in, okay, I'm in, why not? The title, the topic is very nice, it's something for me. And then their friends see that. And if they are in a specific group, probably their friends are also within the same group. So they will also react to this event, and then it will spread. But it's only when you give value. People don't click if there is no value. Of course, if you run a paid ads and there is like a huge red stripe, like calling you to make an action, like it's, I don't know, 50% off, right? Big red slogan. Then you probably will click it. But there is no real value. There is only like, okay, I know the product, I might need it, so I will check it out. So think of giving value, real value, because when you have value, then people will happily spend money on your product or service. So value first, value always goes first.
Totally. And I think a lot of times you need to, like you said, like to do stuff that doesn't scale, like really like get that first person to believe in you and add value to just like that one person, and then go to 2 and 10, and then it becomes easier. We have a question here from Rafi, getting back to kind of the marketplaces and stuff too. Do you, and I know it ranges a lot, but do you have maybe estimate rough average for maybe an online marketplace with a simple buyer seller, like for an MVP, that people can even just throwing out a range for people so they can get a general idea on how much something like, you know, a marketplace would cost for them?
I will say this one, it's for free, because you can book a call with me and we'll estimate you for free this project of yours. Like I said, I just can't throw a number. It varies. It might cost $2,000 or $500 if we use, for instance, Magento or WooCommerce, like I mentioned before, because there are like platforms and some functionalities are for free. So you can just go and use them, or even Wix. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, there are like page builders with implemented plugins for e-commerce or marketplaces. So we can just go and use them. So you can do it for free. But the question is, when you test it, when you validate it, where you want to go? Because very often, in most cases, you need something customized at some point. So there, this is the point where you can invest huge amounts of money. When you have validated idea, when you prove that you have value for those customers, and then you need something very specific, something customized that like Magento WooCommerce can grant you. So then you come to like software agencies of dev shops, and you just ask them, But for you, you can just like book a visit with me and we'll talk about your project. We can even like make an MVP for you or a mood board for that instance. Who knows what comes next? And yeah, I mean, it might cost $500. It might also cost $100,000. It always depends on your idea and what you have and what value you need to propose to your customer and target audience.
Great answer. Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways of building something to validate the idea cheaply, quickly yourself, or hiring just a little freelancer or whatever. I mean, there's no code platforms like Magento, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Shopify. There's Bubble, there's Adalo. There's all sorts of new like tools that you can build a project. The reason that we like with Entre ourselves, like we literally just built all of this out like over the last 2 years, right? Originally, I was starting with just a membership site and then a web app. And then I was like, all right, we just need to build out a custom thing because I already know there's a bunch of people who want this, right? We now need to build out like our own technology, our proprietary thing, not have any third parties involved, control the code, own the code, and also set ourselves up for a better long-term future because we don't rely on any other platforms to control our success, right? And we own all the data and everything. So I totally, yeah, exactly what you said, spot on. And we have time for maybe one more question. If anyone has any, we are going to do one quick breakout session too for everyone who's sticking around just to network and meet some of the other attendees really quickly. And I don't see too many. Yeah, Rowan's question we kind of just answered. Yeah, okay. Oh, there's one question here about robotics. Even needs to kickstart. Yeah, any type of like technology or like hardware, it's those projects are always really difficult. And most of the time, the best ways to do those is equity crowdfunding or crowdfunding platform. So like build a prototype, put it up on Kickstarter, raise some money that way, or you're gonna have to get straight investment. And then you can advertise on Facebook for that Kickstarter campaign that you're running for that. And here we have one more here, last question. B2B marketplace, how do I mitigate the risk of clients targeting my suppliers off the platform? So you kind of mentioned this with the fees, but if you want to dive into it really quickly here, we can get into that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to do marketplace. How do I mitigate the risk of clients targeting my suppliers off platform? Yeah, so here comes also what I mentioned during my presentation. So you can build tools in your platform to prevent this leakage. And those tools might be like ratings or opinions for that instance. So when like a seller, even though it's like a business to business or the buyer is a business, if the seller have like a proved profile, like a certain level of trust is required, right, to like in your platform. So if it's transparent, if you have reviews, if you have like a rating system or maybe insurance, these are the things people love to see in a marketplace. So you can rely on that maybe. But yeah, I mean, there is always competition. There is no market without competition. So you will always be, you always have to be prepared that someone will target your audience anyway. So just build the tools that will help you keep them together and just to be loyal to your service and your platform. And like rating systems or insurance or reviews or opinions are the great thing to do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people might run into this with the fees because like I've used some of these other platforms like Upwork, even Fiverr. Once we get to know the freelancer, we just take them off and we just do it on PayPal. We save money, they save money. So be careful with the transaction fees because once people trust the other person, there's no need for that platform there unless there's some other benefit that they're getting with it as far as like messaging or saving, time on something else or putting money in escrow so that, no one has to worry about them, getting refunded and all sorts of different things.
Yeah, and I have a great example for that. It just hit my mind. There is a doc planner. Maybe you know it. It's like basically a platform that this is what I mentioned during my presentation. So when you're looking for a doctor and you want to book a visit, you can go online and find this platform which called doc planner, and you can see the ratings of the doctors there, and you can book a visit. And this is exactly this case what you're asking for, what you're asking about, and why they are not switching to offline and just off platform. The thing is that doctors don't want to do that. Why? Because within this platform there are tools, like for instance booking tools or calendar tools, that are very convenient and very useful for the doctors. So even though when the patient comes to doctor and he's very satisfied and he says, okay, doc, I would like to have another visit, so maybe we'll go off this platform and just deal with each other, but directly. And he says, no, because I have this booking system and I have this all calendar, and it would like smash it, or it's not good for me because I have like everything transparent on this platform. So let's do it just through this platform. So you have to think, it's very specific for every brand, business, market, but there are some tools and there are smart ways to do that. So just think about it and talk to your audience. Like, ask questions, observe, like UX, like make research about that. It's like people will tell you.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. It's just other things that they're already using and adding to them. Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much. That was incredible. We are going to have the replay up on our YouTube. We are going to put the slides. We'll get the slides in the email for everyone tomorrow, because I know there's a bunch of people asking about the slides. Book a call with him, get the $500, work on your projects with Ideamotive. And yeah, thank you guys so much. If you guys want to stick around, I'm going to be sending everyone out to breakout rooms real quick. You can network with some of the other attendees for, a few minutes here before we wrap up. And again, just thank you for being a part of this. And yeah, if there's any final thoughts that you want to share before I send people out here. Okay, great.
Yeah, so thank you again for having me here. And I hope you learned something interesting and instructive. And like Mike said, like I said before, just book a visit and let's talk about your future project and how can we help you. I mean, we love giving back to the community. It's very important for us. So just use it when there's opportunity. And yeah, have a great day. I'm going back to sleep. It's 12 p.m. here. So yeah. Thank you again.
Yeah, you got it. Take care.